I wanted to like Keeping Up with the Joneses a lot more than I actually did, because on paper this sounds like one of those movies that should be an easy win. Great cast, fun spy premise, and plenty of room for comedy. But somehow it ends up feeling like it never fully commits to being hilarious or being a great action movie. It just kind of sits in the middle. Before I get into it, like and follow if you're into movie reviews where we actually say what we think. So the movie is basically about Jeff and Karen Gaffney, an ordinary suburban couple whose lives get turned upside down when the ridiculously perfect Joneses move in next door. Of course, Karen starts thinking something isn't right, and she's actually onto something because their new neighbors are secret agents caught in a dangerous mission. Suddenly, these regular people are dragged into car chases, shootouts, and spy missions they never asked for. And that's really where my biggest issue with this movie starts. The idea is actually fun. A normal married couple accidentally getting caught in an international spy operation has a lot of potential. But the movie never pushes that idea as far as it should. It keeps jumping between comedy and action without ever becoming great at either. It feels like it's scared to fully lean into the craziness. What annoyed me the most is that the funniest part of the movie isn't the spy stuff. It's Jeff and Karen acting like normal people. Karen becoming obsessed with figuring out what's wrong with the Joneses is honestly where the movie starts working. She notices little things that don't make sense, sneaks into their house looking for evidence, and keeps driving Jeff crazy with her theories. Those scenes are funny because they come from their personalities instead of expensive action sequences, keeping up with the Joneses.txt. Then you've got Jeff, who's completely convinced everything has a normal explanation. Every time Karen points out something suspicious, he finds the most boring excuse possible. And that back and forth between them carries a lot of the first half. Keeping up with the Joneses.txt. I'll also give the movie credit for the chemistry. Zach Galifianakis and Isla Fisher feel like an actual married couple who's been together for years. They annoy each other, embarrass each other, but still genuinely care about each other. That relationship ends up being more entertaining than the actual spy plot. The conversations about trying to bring excitement back into their marriage feel surprisingly natural and make them easy to root for, keeping up with the Joneses.txt. But once the movie shifts into full spy mode, this is where it started losing me. Instead of building on the comedy, it starts throwing in bigger action scenes, motorcycle chases, explosions, and secret organizations. None of it is terrible, but it all feels pretty standard. Even the chase scenes have funny moments, like Jeff panicking while everyone else treats being shot at like another day at the office, but the action never feels exciting enough to carry the second half, keeping up with the Joneses.txt. The biggest problem is that the movie keeps asking me to care about the mission, but I never really did. I cared about Jeff and Karen surviving because they were likable, not because I was invested in stopping the villains. That's a big difference. And honestly, that's the story of this whole movie. Every time it remembers, it's about two completely average people stuck in an insane situation, it's entertaining. Every time it tries to become a serious spy movie, it becomes forgettable. Real talk. This feels like two different movies fighting each other. One wants to be a goofy neighborhood comedy, and the other wants to be an action spy adventure. Neither one wins. So the final result lands somewhere in the middle. That's frustrating, because you can see a better movie hiding inside this one. The cast is talented, the concept is solid, and there are enough funny moments to remind you what could have been. It just never finds that extra gear. It isn't bad. I wasn't checking how much time was left every 5 minutes, and I laughed more than once. But I also don't think it's the kind of movie I'll remember a month from now. It's the definition of watch it once and move on. So yeah, for me, Keeping Up with the Joneses gets a 6 out of 10. Not because it's boring or unwatchable, but because it never becomes as funny as its cast, or as exciting as its premise deserved. There's a genuinely entertaining movie in here, but it spends too much time playing it safe, instead of embracing how ridiculous the idea really is. That's my review. Let me know, did you think this movie deserved more than a 6, or do you think that's about right?